Hello everyone, I'm Nguyen Dao Tuan Anh. Today I will send lab 2, configuring trust in Active Directory. I'll demonstrate the completed lab exercises and answer the review question. Let me open the VM. So let me go to the DNS. I config DNS name resolution between domain by creating a conditional forwarder for adatum.com. So let me click the properties. So as you can see, the conditional forwarder for adatum.com pointing to IP 192.168.174.51 with enable DNS resolution between our domain. Let me close this. Let me open the Active Directory domain and trust. Right click to my domain. Click the trust tab. So this is a completed configuration for exercise 15.1. Let me highlight the key element here. So notice that adatum.com appear under domain trusted by this domain. This is an outgoing trust section. This is a one-way trust. So and you can see that adatum does not appear in the incoming trust section. Confirming this is a one-way only. Let me show you the detail. Click properties. So the properties confirm this is an external trust with outgoing direction, and it is non-transitive. So let me answer the question for exercise 15.1. What tool did you use to create a trust relationship between two domains? The tool that I use is Active Directory Domain and Trust. You access it from Server Manager tool menu. I right-click the domain, selected Properties, went to the Trust tab, and click the New Trust button to launch the wizard. For question 2, you need to define that a domain is trusted by another domain. Which type of trust would this be? Outgoing or incoming? When a domain is trusted by another domain, this is an outgoing trust. For example, if my Seneca ID.com trusts adatum.com, that means we trust them. We trust in an outgoing partner. From our perspective, just going out to them, the user can come in to access our resources, but the trust direction from our domain is outgoing. Conversely, if we appear in another domain incoming trust section, that would mean they trust us. Trust is coming into them from us. For question 3, what type of trust is defined between a parent domain and a child domain? A parent-child trust is a two-way transitive trust that's created automatically when you add a child domain to an existing domain. For example, if you have a console.com as a parent and create a trial.console.com, Active Directory automatically create a bidirectional transitive trust between them. So let's move to exercise 15.2, where I created a two-way forward trust between my SenecaID.com and adatum.com. Let me click the Active Directory domain and trust. Right-click to Properties, Trust tab. And notice the key difference from exercise 15.1. And adatum.com appear in outgoing trust section, and it's also appear in the incoming trust section. This confirms the two-way nature of trust flow in both directions. So let me show you in detail. Click properties. So the properties, so this is a forward trust, this two-way direction, and this is transitive. This means the trust extend to all domain in both forest and trust flow through the forest structure. So now I will answer the review question for exercise 15.2. In exercise 15.2, what type of trust was created when you create a two-way forest trust? When I created a two-way forest trust, the type created is a two-way transitive forest trust. This is different from external trust in several ways. First one, this is a forest trust, not an external trust. This means it encompasses all domain in both forests, not just an individual domain. Second one is two-way. User from either forest can access resources in the other forest. Third one, it's transitive, which lead to our next question. So for question 5, domain A trust domain B, B trust C, therefore I trust C. What type of trust it is? This is described as a transitive trust. Transitivity means that the trust flow through intermediate trust relationship. If domain A just domain B and domain B just domain C, then it's a transitive trust relationship. Domain A automatically just domain C. The trust flow through domain B. Forest trusts, like the one that we just created, are transitive. This means if we had a multiple domain in each forest, the trust would extend across all of them automatically. In contrast, the external trust from exercise 15.1 was non-transitive, just does not flow through external trust. For exercise 15.3, I validated the trust relationship and tested by accessing self-resources. Let me show you the validation first. Oh, Active Directory domain trust. Right click. Trust. Copy this. To validate the trust, I use the validate button in this dialog. So when I click validate, the system tested the trust relationship. So I select yes, validate the incoming trust. So it says the trust had been validated in display and activated. So this one select no. So, and here's the confirm that the trust was successfully validated. This means authentication is working correctly between the domain. So next, let me test the trust by creating a shared folder and configuring permission to demonstrate cross-domain access. Go to the file explorer. Let's see, try. So I created this data folder on C drive. Inside, I created a test file called test.txt, test.txt to verify access. And let me show you the permission of this folder. So the folder is set as the // or WDC-174/data on network. So let me click the advanced sharing. So the folder is with the name with the same name data. So let me click the permission. As you can see, I config permission to run everyone phone control, which allow user from the trusted domain to access this share. So let me go to the storage VM. So let me type the path. Enter. You can see we have the test.txt file here. So this is a UNC path that user from adatum.com would use to access the share folder. Because of the trust relationship we config, adatum.com user can authenticate to my senecaid.com resources and access the share files. And in this, in the controller VM, we can see. So for question 6 in exercise 15.3, how did you validate a trust between two domains? To validate the trust, I open the trust property dialog and click to the validate button. This prompts me to choose whether to validate the incoming or outgoing trust. I selected yes, validate the incoming trust, and provided the adatum.com administrator credential. The validation process tests the authentication part between the domain. It confirmed that user from adatum.com can successfully authenticate to mysenecaid.com through the trust relationship. The system returned a success message confirming the trust is functioning properly. To summarize what I completed, I created and configured one-way external trust, allowing adatum.com user to access mysenecaid.com resources. I upgraded to a two-way forest trust, enabling bidirectional access between both forests. I validated the trust relationship using built-in Active Directory tools. I tested the trust function by configuring and accessing a shared network resources. All trust configurations are working correctly, and I have demonstrated understanding of trust type direction and transitivity. Thank you for watching.